divisions of the Indian Army at the time, which were the infantry, the gunshots ringing through the battlefield, soldiers on horseback being led through enemy lines, betrayals by those thought to be loyal, traps set along the canyon, the life of the Emperor's wife at stake, ambushes from every direction, armies getting obliterated but fighting until the end. Sound familiar? Probably not, right? Well, it turns out that this should sound familiar, and that's because this battle I just described, called the Battle of Gaixia, according to an article with that title, is the basis for a board game that has grown in popularity over the past year, in large part due to the pandemic, a game known as chess. This battle that was fought in China at around 200 BC led military commander Han Xin to create this game we all know and love, or at least that's how H.J.R. Murray describes it in his book, An Illustrated History of Chess. The first chess game was actually called the game to capture Shang Kui, who was the commander of the opposing army. In modern-day chess, the object is to corner the king rather than capture him. In the remainder of the speech, I will take you through the history of the movement of chess pieces, and I will discuss the evolution of the game itself, including how it was influenced by Chaturanga, one of the first known variants of the game. After the game was created in China, it was adopted in India about 1,500 years ago, and was called Chaturanga, according to chess.com. The main difference between modern-day chess and this ancient Indian variant is that in Chaturanga, you have to capture the king to win the game rather than checkmating the king. The other important thing to mention about this variant is that the name of it, Chaturanga, roughly translates to four limbs, which represents the four divisions of the Indian Army at the time, which were the infantry, the pawns, the elephantry, the bishops, the cavalry, the knights, and the chariots, the rooks. This game is believed to be the earliest variant of the game of chess, and after a few modifications made by the Europeans during the medieval period, was made into modern chess, as stated by chess.com. Other than Chaturanga, there really haven't been any other notable variants of the game, as it traveled through Asia, into Persia, and through Europe. The game board itself has always been an alternating color 8x8 square board. For a majority of the pieces, the movement has remained the same throughout history, but for some, namely the bishop and queen, it has changed significantly. The pawns have always represented foot soldiers since their establishment in the game of chess in India. For that reason, they line up in front of the other pieces, since they always attack first. Their movement has, for the most part, been one step forward and capture diagonally. The knight is also unchanged since the beginning of chess and represents cavalry, who, since they are on horseback, can jump over other soldiers, and when doing so, veer off to one side, hence the L-shaped movement of the knight, according to the Learn and Play Online Chess LAPOC website. Things get interesting when we start talking about the bishop. The bishops originally represented the advisors of a commander in China who could shield that commander from attack by stepping diagonally in front of them. A common tactic in modern-day chess is fianchettoing the bishop, which involves the same thing, moving it diagonally one square in the direction of the edge of the board, allowing for the king to move behind it. Bishops attack from a distance, which allows them to defend the king when they need to. The word that was initially used for bishop in Chinese was shang, which has over 20 translations, including elephant. It's worth noting that bishops can't jump over other pieces, because I'm pretty sure if an elephant tried to jump over an army, there would be a 10.0 magnitude earthquake that would obliterate both armies. Now that wouldn't make for a very fun game of chess, would it? Anyway, this translation of the word stuck with the pieces the game moved into India and other Asian countries. But when the game got to Europe in the Middle Ages, where the Catholic Church was very prominent, the piece became called the bishop and gained unlimited range on the diagonals, as stated in the article, Intriguing History of Chess Pieces. The rook is another interesting piece in the game of chess. In Persian, the word rook refers to a fast chariot, and when the game was adapted in Russia, the term for it became synonymous with boat. The piece resembled a small castle, and still does, since that's what the Europeans took it to be, carrying that definition for it through. For that reason, when the rook and king are moved next to each other in the back, it is known as castling, which is a common tactic in modern-day chess that allows the king to move to safety. Next, we move to the queen. The queen wasn't always a queen. In 6th century India, it was originally an advisor who sent instructions to the battlefield. And in chess, they were only able to move one square diagonally, originally. In an effort to speed up the game, the Europeans added power to a lot of the pieces, and gave the queen the ability to move any amount of spaces in any direction, and named it the Queen in honor of Queen Isabella of Spain in the 15th century. This speeding up of the game through expanding the range of the pieces corresponds to the creation of weapons that did the same for warfare, like guns and cannons. And finally, for the king. The one square in any direction movement of the king has always been the same as the game of chess moved from country to country. However, in some Asian countries, the king was actually called the general, so as to fit the war analogy. Before the Europeans took up the game, the king did not have to be under attack for it to be in checkmate, as long as all the pieces had been taken. Now the king does have to be under attack, or else it's a draw known as stalemate. If there are no legal moves, then the king is not under attack. So these are the main ways the game of chess has changed over the years. Not many, I know, but they were effective. The game of chess has largely remained the same throughout history, but has changed with the invention of long-range warfare. It went through changes in Europe that made it faster and more fun, allowing for an expansion of the game. This game that seems so peaceful is actually based on war, which is really put into perspective when considering newer variants, like atomic chess, that involve blowing up of every piece around a captured piece, including the king. So a battle in China led to the making of this game that has grown to be one of the most popular in the world over the past year or so. Next time you sit down to play this game of chess, consider the bloodshed that went into making it.